Have you ever faced a moment where everything felt like it was falling apart? Maybe it was a personal failure, a professional setback, or just an accumulation of daily stresses that felt, well, insurmountable. You got knocked down, and getting back up felt like scaling a mountain with bare hands. And perhaps in those moments, you've looked around and seen others, seemingly unfazed, who not only recover, but appear to grow stronger from the very challenges that break most people. What's their secret? Is it luck? Or a different kind of personality? Or is there a deeper, hidden psychological framework that allows them to transform hardship into an unshakable inner core? This isn't about simply enduring pain. It's about a profound mindset, something Carl Jung's revolutionary insights into the human psyche can illuminate. What if true resilience isn't about avoiding the fall, but about how you integrate the fragments of yourself after impact? It's a feeling we all know, that knot in your stomach, the exhaustion that sets in when life hits hard. It's not just the event itself, but the feeling that you're somehow broken, that you might not fully recover. You might even start to doubt your own strength, feeling like you're walking on thin ice, waiting for the next crack. But what if there was a way to not just survive these moments, but to actually become stronger because of them? What if true resilience isn't just about bouncing back, but about building something new from the pieces? Today, we're going to dive deep into the work of Carl Jung, one of the most brilliant minds who ever explored the human psyche. He spent his life mapping the very architecture of our inner world, and what he found offers a radical new way to understand what true strength really means. This isn't just about individual grit, it's about a universal human truth, that our deepest wounds, they actually hold the seeds of our greatest power. We'll explore how highly resilient people don't just get over their pain, instead they transform it. They weave their struggles into a deeper understanding of themselves and the world around them. This process, often hidden and misunderstood, allows them to build an inner core that feels almost unbreakable. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll see why resilience isn't about being lucky or avoiding pain. It's about a profound psychological process that anyone can learn to tap into. It will change not only how you view your own struggles, but also how you build a life that is truly deeply strong. To understand how resilience works, we first need to look at how we present ourselves to the world. Jung called this the persona. Think of the persona as your social mask. It's the character you play in different situations. You have a persona for work, a different one for your family, another for your friends, and maybe even a different one for your online presence. This isn't about being fake, it's a necessary part of how we function in society. The persona helps us fit in, meet expectations, and navigate the complex rules of human interaction. It's how we protect our inner selves and how we try to be accepted. For example, imagine you're at a job interview. You probably put on a confident, capable persona, even if you're secretly nervous. Or maybe you're the strong one in your family, always putting on a brave face, even when you're struggling. This persona can be incredibly useful. It allows us to perform, to connect, and to feel secure in our roles. But here's the catch. When we identify too strongly with our persona, we start to believe that this mask is who we are. We become rigid, unable to adapt or show anything that doesn't fit the picture we've created. And this is where the trouble starts, especially when life hits hard. What happens when your job is suddenly gone, or your family role is disrupted, or the image you've carefully built on social media crumbles? The persona you relied on cracks. And when that happens, it can feel like you are cracking. The feeling that everything is falling apart often comes from the sudden, jarring realization that the person you thought you were, the public face you showed the world, is not enough to handle the current reality. It's a moment of deep discomfort because it forces us to look beyond the surface. Now, if the persona is the face we show to the world, then the shadow is everything we keep hidden from ourselves and others. It's the part of us that holds the desires, instincts, fears, and emotions we've deemed unacceptable, shameful, or simply not me. Maybe it's anger you were told was wrong to express as a child. Or maybe it's jealousy you feel guilty about. It could be laziness, selfishness, or even powerful creative impulses that you suppressed because they didn't fit your persona. But here's a crucial point. The shadow isn't just negative, it also contains undeveloped positive qualities. It might hold your hidden courage, your natural assertiveness, or your deep capacity for joy that you never allowed yourself to fully express. These are qualities that you've pushed away because they didn't fit the image you were trying to maintain, or because society told you they were too much or not enough. We all have a shadow. It's not something only bad people have. It's a universal part of the human psyche. We push these parts away because we want to be loved, accepted, and to feel safe. We don't want to admit to ourselves that we have these darker or unacceptable aspects. But these hidden parts don't just disappear. Not at all. They lurk in the background, influencing our behavior, our moods, and our reactions in ways we don't always understand. They can manifest as sudden outbursts of anger, unexplained anxieties, or self-sabotaging patterns. So, how does this relate to resilience? When life knocks us down, it often does more than just damage our persona. It pushes us into contact with our shadow. That feeling of being broken or not enough after a setback, it's often the persona struggling to hold itself together, while the unacknowledged parts of the shadow, they begin to stir beneath the surface. You might feel a surge of anger you didn't know you had, or a deep sense of inadequacy that you've always pushed away. This is incredibly uncomfortable, because it means confronting what you've tried so hard to deny about yourself. And this brings us to what we call the crisis point. That's the moment when life truly hits hard. This is where the gap between your carefully constructed persona and your stirring shadow becomes impossible to ignore. Imagine you've always seen yourself as a calm, collected person. Then a major crisis hits, and you find yourself overwhelmed with anxiety or snapping at loved ones. This isn't just about the external event. It's about the internal struggle. Your persona is cracking, and the parts you've pushed into your shadow, perhaps fear, vulnerability, or even rage, they're surfacing. Most people, when faced with this, try to put the mask back on as quickly as possible. They try to ignore the uncomfortable feelings, to suppress the emerging shadow. They might numb themselves, distract themselves, or blame others. This is a natural reaction. It's scary to face the parts of ourselves we don't like. You might think, if I let this anger out, I'll lose control. Or if I admit I'm scared, I'll be seen as weak. This resistance to confronting the shadow is precisely what prevents true healing and growth. It keeps the psychic energy stuck. Carl Jung saw psychic energy, or libido, as the fundamental life force that drives us. It's not just sexual energy, as Freud mainly focused on, but a generalized life energy that fuels all our psychological processes, our thoughts, emotions, desires, and motivations. Think of it like the flow of water in a river. When the water flows freely, it powers everything downstream. But if there's a dam, or, a blockage, the water gets stagnant, pressure builds up, and it just can't reach where it needs to go. In our inner world, this energy flows towards what we value, what we focus on, and what we acknowledge. When we suppress aspects of ourselves, when we refuse to look at our shadow or acknowledge the cracks in our persona, we create blockages. Our psychic energy gets stuck. This trapped energy doesn't just disappear, though. It finds other ways to express itself, often in really unhelpful forms. Like, for instance, anxiety, depression, unexplained physical symptoms, or maybe just constant fatigue. You might feel a sense of unease, a deep exhaustion, or find yourself endlessly looping in negative thought patterns. This is your life force being dammed up, unable to flow freely and creatively. Highly resilient people, whether they consciously know it or not, learn to unblock this energy. They don't shy away from the pain, or those uncomfortable truths that a crisis reveals. Instead, they lean into it. They allow the persona to crack, and they start to look at the shadow without immediate judgment. They understand, even if intuitively, that this internal friction is a sign that energy is trying to move. They don't try to force the river back into its old banks. Instead, they explore new paths for it to flow. This leads us to the heart of Jung's approach to resilience, the process of integration. It's about bringing the conscious and unconscious parts of yourself into dialogue. It's about acknowledging your persona for what it is, a useful tool, not your entire identity, and more importantly, about confronting and accepting your shadow. This doesn't mean letting your shadow take over or acting out your worst impulses. It means bringing these hidden aspects into the light of consciousness, understanding them, and finding a way to integrate them into a more complete picture of who you are. For example, if you've always suppressed anger because you believed it was bad, integration isn't about becoming an angry person. It's about recognizing the anger, understanding its roots, and perhaps discovering that within that anger is a powerful drive for justice or a healthy boundary-setting mechanism. If you've pushed away your vulnerability, integration means understanding that vulnerability is not weakness, but a gateway to deeper connection and true strength. The process of integration can be messy. It requires self-reflection, honest self-assessment, and often, facing painful memories or uncomfortable truths. You might feel a sense of disorientation as your old identity shifts, or experience internal resistance. It can even bring up uncomfortable feelings, like guilt or selfishness, or lead to external friction as you shed old expectations. But this discomfort is a vital part of the deconstruction process that leads to immense growth. The result of integration is a stronger, more authentic self. When you integrate your shadow, you become more whole. You're no longer expending so much psychic energy trying to keep parts of yourself hidden. This freed-up energy then becomes available for creativity, problem-solving, and genuine connection. You become less easily thrown off balance by external events because your sense of self is no longer tied to a fragile persona. You have a deeper understanding of your own complexities, your flaws, and your strengths. And this makes you incredibly resilient. You're not just bouncing back. You're building something new and robust from the shattered pieces. As we deepen this process of integration, we start to connect with something even larger: archetypes. Jung believed that beneath our personal unconscious, there's a deeper shared layer, what he called the collective unconscious. This collective unconscious, it's like a vast library of universal human experiences, patterns, and images inherited from our ancestors. These are the archetypes, you see, universal primordial images and ideas that appear in myths, religions, stories, and dreams across all cultures. Think of the hero, the sage, the warrior, the caregiver, the rebel, the trickster. These aren't specific people, but universal patterns of behavior and meaning. How do archetypes relate to resilience? When we integrate our shadow and connect with our deeper self, we can tap into these universal sources of wisdom and strength. The crisis, the breakdown of the persona, and the confrontation with the shadow, they often mirror what Jung called the hero's journey. That's a fundamental archetype. In this journey, the hero faces what we call a call to adventure, a crisis. They then descend into the unknown, confronting their shadow. They undergo trials, and eventually they return transformed. Often, they bring a kind of boon back to their community. Highly resilient people, whether consciously or unconsciously, they're embodying aspects of this hero's journey. They don't just endure, they see the challenge as a profound initiation. They tap into the inner warrior archetype to find courage, the sage archetype to gain wisdom from their experience, or the healer archetype to bring compassion to their own wounds and those of others. They realize that their personal struggle is part of a larger human pattern, and this connection gives them a sense of profound meaning and strength. They find a well of strength not just from their individual willpower, but from a universal source. For example, facing a major career setback might evoke your inner warrior to fight for a new path, or your inner creator to build something entirely new. You access strengths you didn't even know you had. That's because they were previously dormant in your unconscious, just waiting for the right moment to be called upon. Ultimately, the goal of this entire process, the integration of persona and shadow, the freeing of psychic energy, the tapping into archetypes, is to move towards what Jung called individuation. This is perhaps the most central concept in his work, and the ultimate secret of highly resilient people. Individuation is the lifelong process by which an individual becomes a complete, whole, and unique person. It's about becoming who you truly are, not just who you think you should be or who others want you to be. It's the process of uniting all the disparate parts of your psyche, the conscious and unconscious, the light and the dark, the known and the unknown, into a unified, coherent whole. Think of it like an acorn becoming an oak tree. The potential is there from the beginning, but it takes time, nourishment, challenges, and growth to fully realize that potential. Individuation isn't about being perfect, it's about being complete. It's about acknowledging and accepting all of who you are, the beautiful and the messy, the strengths and the vulnerabilities. The highest expression of individuation is the realization of the self. The self is not the ego. The ego is our conscious I, our everyday personality. The self, in Jungian terms, is the totality of the psyche, the center of personality that encompasses both the conscious and the unconscious. It is the guiding principle, the inner compass, the organizing force that strives for wholeness. When you connect with yourself, you tap into an unshakable inner core. This is not about external circumstances. It's about an inner state of balance and completeness. Highly resilient people are often deeply engaged in this process of individuation, whether they use Jungian terms or not. They instinctively understand that life's challenges are not roadblocks, but catalysts for growth. Each time they face a setback, they don't just bounce back to their old self. Instead, they use that challenge to integrate another piece of their shadow, to free up more psychic energy, and to become more aware of their true self. They weave their struggles into the very fabric of their being, making them stronger, deeper, and more truly themselves. This means that for resilient individuals, pain and struggle aren't something to be avoided at all costs. They are essential parts of the journey towards wholeness. When you get knocked down, it's an invitation to look inward, to see what parts of your persona are cracking, what aspects of your shadow are emerging, and how you can integrate them to become more complete. It's about transforming the fall itself into a profound act of self-discovery. True resilience, therefore, isn't about being lucky or avoiding pain. It's about embracing the profound psychological process of individuation. It's about understanding that your deepest wounds actually hold the seeds of your greatest power. It's about a continuous journey of becoming more fully who you are, with each challenge serving as a guidepost towards greater authenticity and an unshakable inner core. We began this journey wondering why some people seem to grow stronger, even flourish from life's toughest hits, while others, well, they struggle to find their footing again. We asked, what's their secret? Is it some innate quality, or is it something deeper? And through the profound, life-changing insights of Carl Jung, one of humanity's most brilliant explorers of the mind, we've peeled back the layers of the human psyche. We found truly actionable answers there. We first looked at our persona, the social mask we all wear. We saw how this public face, while useful, can become a fragile identity, often cracking under pressure when life disrupts our carefully constructed roles. Then, we plunged into the hidden depths of the shadow. That's the mysterious part of us holding everything we've deemed unacceptable, or simply too difficult to acknowledge. It holds both our perceived flaws and our incredible untapped strengths, you see. We learned that the moments when life knocks us down aren't just external events. No, they're often internal catalysts, forcing a confrontation between our comfortable persona and our stirring shadow. We discovered that true strength isn't about ignoring these cracks, or simply pushing away uncomfortable truths like fear, anger, or vulnerability. Instead, it's about courageously facing them. It's about allowing our deep psychic energy, our very life force really, to flow freely again through that powerful process of integration. This isn't just a personal journey of healing. No, it's one that truly connects us to universal human stories, to the ancient archetypes, like the hero's journey, for instance. It shows us that our individual struggles are part of a timeless, shared quest for meaning, and ultimately, profound transformation. And ultimately, at the heart of Jung's wisdom, we discovered that true resilience is deeply, deeply interwoven with the path toward individuation. This isn't a destination you reach and then stop, you know? No, It's a continuous, lifelong journey of becoming more fully and authentically yourself. It's about uniting all the seemingly disparate pieces of your psyche, the light and the dark, the conscious and the unconscious, the known and the unknown. It's about bringing them together into a truly complete, harmonious, and unshakable whole, ultimately guided by your true self. So if you've ever felt that gut-wrenching knot in your stomach, that deep sense of being utterly broken or not enough after a setback, know this truth. That feeling isn't a sign of inherent weakness or failure. In fact, it's often the very beginning of a profound invitation. An invitation to look deeply inward, to understand yourself in ways you never thought possible, and, crucially, to transform your pain, your challenges, and even your deepest wounds into an incredible, lasting power. You are not, and were never meant to be, a perfect, unblemished, or one-dimensional version of yourself. That's a false ideal. You are meant to be whole, and in your wholeness, in your remarkable ability to integrate every part of your experience, every fragment shattered by life's impacts, lies an astonishing, truly unbreakable strength. The difficulties and struggles you face are not punishments. No, they are, in a very real sense, catalysts. They are the essential forge in which your truest, most robust, and most resilient self is being shaped, ready to stand strong against whatever comes next. So what does all of this mean for you, for your life, for your next challenge right here, right now? It means that the next time life delivers a painful blow, you have a powerful choice. Will you try to quickly patch up your old persona, clinging to a fading image and pretending the cracks aren't there? Or will you bravely lean into the discomfort, allowing the fragments to reveal deeper truths within you? Will you begin the vital work of exploring your own shadow, not with judgment, but with curiosity, knowing that within those hidden parts lie incredible, untapped strengths and wisdom? Will you choose to see your personal journey as part of a larger, universal human narrative, drawing immense strength and courage from the archetypes that reside within us all? This isn't about a quick fix. No, it's a lifelong practice, a continuous journey of becoming more fully yourself. But understand this: every step you take towards greater self-awareness, every piece of yourself you bravely integrate, builds that unshakable inner core we've been talking about. It's about transforming the fall itself into a profound act of self-discovery and empowerment. Remember that initial pressing question we asked right at the start of this video? What is the secret of those people who don't just survive hardship, but actually grow stronger and wiser from it? It's not about sheer luck. It's certainly not about avoiding the fall, because, well, falls are inevitable in life. Instead, it's about a profound psychological process, how you integrate the fragments of yourself after impact. It's about becoming truly, deeply, and unapologetically whole. It's about understanding, on a fundamental level, that your deepest wounds actually hold the most fertile seeds of your greatest power, your deepest wisdom, and your most authentic strength. And now, you have a clear map to begin unlocking that power within yourself. Now, if this exploration into Carl Jung's insights resonated with you, if it sparked something deep inside, and if you're ready to dive even deeper into the ancient wisdom and timeless philosophies that help us not just navigate modern life, but truly master it and thrive, then there's one important thing to do. Make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. We are just getting started on this incredible journey of understanding ourselves, our potential, and the intricate world around us. Join our rapidly growing community of thinkers, seekers, and truth explorers as we continue to unlock transformative ideas from the greatest minds in history. We're translating complex philosophy into clear, actionable insights for your life. Now, I'm truly curious to hear from you. What specific part of Carl Jung's profound insights spoke most powerfully to you today? Perhaps you had a personal breakthrough or a moment of recognition. Have you ever had an experience where a significant crisis or setback in your life forced you to confront a hidden part of yourself, ultimately leading to unexpected strength, clarity, or growth? So share your thoughts, your experiences, and your stories in the comments section below. Your insights add so much to this dialogue, and by sharing, we can all learn and grow together. Let's create a space for honest reflection, mutual encouragement, and genuine understanding.